how sales has changed in 2025 and what we must do differently. Buyers are savvier, attention spans are shorter, and trust is harder to earn. Welcome to Profit Made Simple, Kevin Frazier.
Mate, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Mate, I'm really excited about today's conversation. You are the GOAT in sales. You've been doing it a long time, but there's a lot of change taking place, and we're going to be talking about what those changes are and how do we need to adjust and change our approach to meet those changes.
Mate, if you're doing sales today the way you were doing it 2 years ago or even 12 months ago, it's time to change. It really is changing that quick. And there's probably four things which I really see which are having the biggest impact at the moment. One is speed to lead. Like urgency is a really, really big thing. Probably the next one is going to be personalisation. We have to be a lot more personalised than what we have been in the past. Leveraging technology, that's going to be a really, really big one, not only now, but definitely moving forward. And the conversations that we have, it's not about the hard close anymore. It's about moving the conversations forward, uncovering what the client's needs are, and coming up with a way to move forward off the back of that. So they're the four things which I'm seeing which are changing at the moment.
Well, let's unpack each one of those.
Sure.
Because I agree with you. They're the four that I'm seeing. We're going to start with speed to lead. It's always been important, but it's even becoming more profound than it's ever been. And I'm going to throw some statistics at you, and I know you have some as well.
I do have some.
We come here prepared today. We've done our research. We've done our due diligence. So 82% of people expect a response within 10 minutes. So if you're getting a lead and you're just like, oh, I'll wait till tomorrow to answer that, or I'll get around to that after these sessions, it's gone.
Yep, it has to be the highest priority. If you see a lead coming in, if you have the opportunity to respond to that immediately, it's going to have the biggest impact. Far and away, you are going to have the greatest chance of moving the conversation forward, and having that conversion is going to be definitely within that immediacy time frame. So within those first 10 minutes, absolutely crucial.
Critical, because 78% of prospects will purchase from the person who buys first. So it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how profound your results have been. It doesn't matter how impressive your facility is. If you get to the prospect first, you are going to win more often than not.
100%. And the reason behind that as well is people will see, well, this guy's super professional. He's got some really good systems in place, and you have the first opportunity to put yourself in front of that person. If you come in and someone has been there before, there's been 2, 3, 4 people who've had a chance to, put their product in front of yours, of course you're going to be, at the back of the line. This is why urgency is absolutely critical.
And what happens in the kind of meta ad game is as soon as you inquire with one fitness business or one studio or one online trainer, guess what you're shown?
Everything from everyone.
Everything from everyone. That's exactly right. So Meta is challenging you, and they're challenging your urgency systems.
That's right.
And so you need to be quick. Now, I want to get into the tactical side of how we be quick, but just one final stat to me to kind of hammer home the importance of this is if you wait 30 minutes or more to respond to that lead, it's 21 times less effective. So if you do nothing else from the back of this podcast, if you do nothing at all, but just get to your leads quicker, you are going to be that much more successful. For me, it is the most important thing that we can be doing as business owners is working out how do we reach and have that conversation before everybody else does?
Yeah, you're exactly right. And there's some pretty scary statistics because that's not long. Like 30 minutes is not long. If you don't have a system in place where you can be notified or your team is going to be notified where they can actually make that call immediately after 30 minutes, as you said, 21 times less likely to actually have a conversion. And then, I've heard of people, they'll go, oh yeah, I'll get to that tomorrow. Or I'll get to that, in another couple of days. If this stretches out to 12 hours, you can basically kiss it goodbye.
Completely agree.
So if you're not hitting these guys with that amount of urgency, and a lot of people are using paid ads here, so we're spending a lot of money and ads are getting more expensive. So we have to make sure every post is a winner. And this is why urgency is absolutely critical here. We can't leave it for 30 minutes. We can't leave it for 12 hours.
No.
Just throwing money down the toilet at that stage.
I was looking at some insights from Matt Ryder, renowned sales coach. He's got an incredible dialing system now. And so he compiled all this data, and it came down to this, is contact your leads as quick as you can. Like literally within the point that they drop their information in. And I'm going to give you a quick story on this.
Yep.
I was speaking to a client. He's based in Belgium, got a wonderful gym. Shout out to Rob. And he's looking for an EV. And so he's on the Tesla website and he puts in his details as an expression of interest. He has not long pressed submit, and guess who he has a call from? It is Tesla. It's organizing, his test drive. And they just moved because he was in the moment. 30 minutes later, he is having to run a class or he's having to pick up his kids from school, and the opportunity is gone. And Tesla understood the importance of getting him whilst he was doing the searching itself.
That's absolutely extraordinary. I heard this story about Alex Hormozy, who has, I think it's like his mother or his mother-in-law or someone on the team, and he pays her a yearly salary just to wait for leads to come in. So as soon as they come in, bang, she's dialing it right there. So it doesn't go for longer than 60 seconds, and someone is actually getting on the phone to these leads.
Now, I know we're going to talk about AI technology. We're going to talk about personalization, but a lot of people listening will be like, okay, that's fantastic. We know urgency is important. We know speed to lead, recency, yet I have a business to run. I have sessions to deliver. I have a family to look after. So what you're asking me to do is entirely impractical. What would you say to that?
So this is where we need to utilize technology.
And how do we do so? What do you mean by that?
So to utilize technology, you need a system in place. So when the lead comes in, at least the lead is being acknowledged. Say, whether it be an automatic text message, which goes directly back to them, just to let them know that we've got your information and we're going to be contacting you as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah.
If you don't have someone, or you can't literally pick the phone up right there and then, these people need to be at least acknowledged.
I agree. And I've been making this blanket absolute statement recently, and I started making it this year, where a go high level platform, and I'm agnostic. It might be an ACR, it might be an Automation King, it might be a Zip Leads, whatever it is. It's now a non-negotiable. It's not a nicety. It's a necessity. And 100%. One of the big reasons is for that functionality. So it can send the text message. We want to try and make sure the text message is less automated and more personal. But it's also got the capability, and we'll talk about it later on, AI chatbots, to actually have the conversation and book the person in there and then.
And that was the next thing. Okay, how do we actually book them in for a confirmed call?
Yeah, because that's
next how we move it forward.
That we want to move it forward. So recency, I feel like we've ticked that one off. I feel like we're very much on the same page here.
If you have a fitness business and you can improve your recency and improve that speed to lead, that's a game changer.
Nothing will change your sales outcomes more than speed to lead. I'm going to say that. That's a quotable moment from this podcast. Let's move on. Number 2, you had speed to lead. Number 1, number 2, personalization. Now I'm going to give you another stat.
Please do.
Our friends at McKinsey, they said 71% of consumers expect personalization. People want personalization, not persuasion. Now, we've just said use automation. You guys are contradicting yourselves. We are not.
No.
We have to use both. The automation is there to help us get the speed, but the personalization is what stands out. In a world of automation, personalization is a difference maker.
Yep, you're exactly right. There's a great line which I had to write down, and it said, it's hard to be heard in a world which never stops talking. And people who we have conversations with, honestly, they want to be heard. And this is where personalization comes in. If you can have a personal conversation with someone where they feel they're heard, that's going to build trust, and people want to work with people who they know, like, and trust. That is absolutely crucial. That's where the personalization comes in. So you use the automation to actually book the call and get the call confirmed, and then you use the personalization to have that fantastic conversation potentially, with that potential lead, find out about them, and then move that conversation forward closer towards a resolution.
Yeah, and I like to say, if everyone's zigging, we got to zag, right? And so right now, everyone's doing the automation, or they're sending the text and everything else. But the little extra steps is what makes all the difference, the extra personalization. Now, we just released our world-renowned follow-up system, Monster Follow-Up 2.0 this week. And within that Monster Follow-Up system, there's several communications that are personal. It's a personal voice memo. There's a personal video that you send. And it's these elements that will stand out. And I'll give you a quick example of this. When I had my second gym, I uncovered a problem that I hadn't had before. And that was no-shows. And it was absolutely frustrating the hell out of me, because in studio number 1, a lot of our lead flow was coming from allied health practitioners, Google search inquiries, people that lived close by because we were on a main road next to the best cafe in the eastern suburbs. So a lot of people knew us as well because we'd been around a long time. So we didn't actually run much in the way of meta ads because we didn't need to. Location number 2, in the middle of an industrial estate, I had to run a lot of meta ads. And so I'm booking appointments like there's no tomorrow, yet I've got a 40% no-show rate on those bookings. And I sat there and I was like, this is not right. There's got to be a better way of doing this. And I thought, well, what's missing here? What is missing is connection. What is missing is the humanization. And so I delivered a little 20-second video after every booking I made. And I said, it was an absolute pleasure and a joy to speak to you. I can't wait to meet you down at the facility so we can help you out with X, Y, and Z. I'm going to save a park right outside the front for you, and I'll see you at this time on this day. All of a sudden, our no-shows went from 40% to 20%. Now, that was just one thing we did, and then we did a number of other things to get that down again. But that was the power of the personalization and that extra step. Now, some people might be going, well, that's a lot of extra work, doing an extra video. But if you halve your no-shows, it's worth that extra minute.
And we talk, like, the whole idea of this podcast is, what do we have to do different in sales at the moment? And it's these kind of things. You have to go above and beyond. You have to look at it from a perspective of, what am I willing to do which others aren't willing to do? Okay, most people, we're going to book the calendar, booking. Okay, that's ready to go. It's not going to happen for 4 days. I don't have to do anything. I'm just going to expect that person to turn up. That's not the case anymore. There has to be the reminders and the personalization. And I love video personalization because
game changer.
You can't fake it.
No, and it creates a real connection, right?
Yeah.
Because if you've got a text message, you're only ever, or a phone call, you're only engaging one of the senses. But now we're engaging an extra sense, and we get to see the individual, and it makes all the difference. And I had a number of really high-level executives and marketers, and they said, that personal video is why I'm here.
Yeah, and it makes all the difference. It's one of the things which I would love to see more people doing is video. And as you said, it only has to be 20 seconds.
Yeah. It's short, it's sharp, it's to the point.
It hits hard. That's personalization right there. And then moving forward from there, when you actually have that call or that consultation or what it's going to be, the trust has already started to be built. I know what you look like. I know what your energy is like. I feel like I know you already.
Yeah, that's such an important point because, one of the things I said in our intro is trust is shrinking right now. People, the prospect trusts us less. They are more cynical, and a way to build that trust is obviously more personalization within the actual lead follow-up and lead nurture sequences. Because when it comes to the consult, that personalization rebuilds trust. And what stats show is that 70% of prospects have already made the decision before they even sit down and meet with you. How can we help that statistic build the relationship beforehand?
Absolutely. And that's going to lead into, as I said, the conversation. So when you're there, they already feel comfortable with you. They're probably even more than 70% ready to sign up with you because the visual aspect is so important. And then, once you go into that consultation and you start, going through, your questions and you're just having a nice chat like this, it just becomes a nice chat. They feel much more comfortable, with you because you've already built it from before you've even, started the consultation.
I love video. I love voice memos as well. I'm a huge advocate of voice memos. Easy to do, iPhone, Android, in your DMs and your socials. And I use these ultra effectively because a lot of the time people just expect that it's going to be an automated response or it's going to be my assistant doing the response itself. And when I drop a voice memo, they're like, oh, holy shit, this is Dan. He is speaking to me.
Everyone wants an audience with the king. And this is where language comes in as well. Like, I wanted to reach out personally. If you can use a line like that, that's one of my favorite lines. If you can use that when you're talking to someone, whether it be a voicemail, whether it be a video, hey, I wanted to reach out personally. I wanted to get in contact personally. And then it just makes people sort of sit back and say, oh, wow, he's literally taking time out to make this specifically for me. That is going to buy you a lot of trust.
We've got recency, speed to lead. We've got personalization. What was your third thing that has changed when it comes to sales in 2025? And what do we need to do differently?
Okay, how do we move the conversation forward? So this is when we're in the consultation. Hard closes don't work anymore.
They do not. If you want to absolutely burn prospects and burn money, do a hard close. Start using sales language like, can we lock you in? We,
this is how we can help you.
Yeah, this is how we can help you. Like, they are going to run a mile because you sound like a salesperson and people don't want to be sold to. So I love the move the conversation forward. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to have the sale at the end of the conversation. But what does move the conversation forward mean?
So moving the conversation forward essentially means I'm not just here to close you. I want to find out more about you. I want to be asking more questions because at this point, I want to make sure that if we're going to work together, it's going to be a win-win situation. So moving the conversation forward comes from using empathetic language. So empathetic language is things like, I get it. I understand. Tell me more about that. I'm interested. So you want to make them feel really, really interested. From this, we can continue to take it forward when you have the opportunity to let them know what you're doing. They're already going to be now 80, 90% ready to move ahead. And that's all we want to do, move it ahead. Whether it goes to the close, we're not thinking about the close at this point.
I will add to that. I love the empathetic language. I also believe a key element underpinning moving the conversation forward is your intention and the intention behind it. The intention is not to close the sale. The intention is to understand this person. The intention is to make sure that they feel heard. The intention is to make sure that they feel important. The intention is to deliver value, not coach, but to deliver value in the conversation itself. Now, does that mean that you may get a sale? Yes, but that's not where the intention is.
Yeah, I love that word. I love that you're looking at from a perspective of positive intention. And it goes back to that personalization as well. You're making it all about them. I need to know that I understand this person really well. I need them to understand that they are being heard.
All right, we've hit big three. What's our fourth way that sales has changed in 2025 and what we need to do differently?
It's the big one. We've touched on it already, leveraging technology.
It's powerful right now. It is.
It's really
moving at a breakneck speed, and I love it, right? We're in the process of developing some really cool stuff behind the scenes. Like, it's going to blow the socks off people.
I've seen a taste of it, and it looks very, very exciting. And this is the thing which lights you up as well.
Oh, absolutely.
I can tell.
Yeah, so I released our custom GPT during the week, and this is leveraging technology. So what I did is I taught ChatGPT our sales system. and there was 50 pages of content that I put into it so it could understand each phase in intimate detail. Now what our clients can do is they can put in their transcripts into this custom GPT, and it will do a full audit of their sales call. Which phase did they do well? How well did they do it? Where's the opportunity for improvement? And it will give them a score based on each phase. Now, you saw it in action.
I did see it in action. This is absolutely extraordinary. So let's just break it down, because what you can do now, if you're having a sales call over the phone with the latest iOS update, you can actually record that call. You obviously want to, make sure that the person who's on the other side, is okay with this, but you can record the call, have the transcript actually put into ChatGPT, and then it can actually review the entire sales call and give you feedback on it.
It's phenomenal and detailed
Really
feedback
detailed.
based on the system that we've created. So no one will be able to replicate this because of the input that we've given it. And that's us leveraging technology. So that's one way that we've leveraged technology. And now our clients can get this incredible coaching, detailed coaching on every call that they do.
Because one of the things that we're big on as well is to review. Okay, I had a sales call here. What worked really well? What didn't work particularly well? What could I do different here? How could I have, worked on that a little bit differently? This is the perfect way to review every single sales.
It's the
call
game
that you
tape,
have.
right? It's the athlete going through.
Yep. You go through it with the coach.
Yep.
And then,
and then you can improve.
And then the team reviews. And that's how you're going to build and develop your sales skills.
And that's exactly it. So that's one way we're leveraging it. The other way is the AI chatbots. I absolutely love these plugins right now.
Yep.
You've got to train the chatbot. You can't just simply throw it in there. You've got to give it a lot of context. You've got to do a lot of role play with it. But it's a game changer on a couple of fronts. Number one, it can get to the lead straight away. So there are times where the person is sitting, watching Netflix at 11 o'clock at night and they're doom scrolling on their phone and they opt into your ad. The AI chatbot will actually book them in for a consult there, and then it will have a back and forth conversation. But even once they're booked in, it will then nurture them so it will understand their goals, why it's important. So we have a qualified lead. We're not just getting somebody that's booking in, but we have a qualified lead that is likely to turn up. So I love the AI chatbots.
Yeah, so the AI chatbots work so well. So by the time it comes to us actually having that conversation, we've gathered as much information as we possibly can, and that nurturing process is so crucial as well.
It is. It's absolutely critical. And then the third way, and now this is not yet really reached a point where I've seen it work successfully, but it is damn close. I'm working with somebody right now. We're developing something very cool, and these are AI calling agents. And these are AI voices, characters that will actually be calling your leads, and they will be booking them in for consults. And again, it's not there yet, but it's so close. And the back and forth and the conversations that we are having, that I am reviewing, are almost as good as a human.
The future is here right now.
That's right. And so you've got to embrace that. And if there's listeners out there going, holy hell, this sounds next level. Well, it is, but it's going to be it's already in our industry, and it's only going to become more important. So make sure you reach out to us or you do the necessary due diligence and research, because this is the present.
There's two options here, but there's only one which is going to work. You can either work with this or work against it, and you have to embrace this. AI chatbots, sales review techniques, automation, you have to embrace it, and then you have to take it upon yourself to turn that into personalization. It's a combination of both. People are looking for that combination of both. That's how you're going to build your sales, and that's how you're going to build your business.
What a conversation. I've absolutely loved this. It's been superb. Now, you've done well. You've passed.
Thank you.
So we're bringing you back next week. What are we covering next week, Kev?
It's all about objection handling.
That's right.
Simple as that. This is without doubt the number one thing I have people come to me about. These are the big four objections. How do I deal with it? That's what we're going to be covering next week.
Well, I can't wait for that, mate. Listeners, viewers, thank you so much for being part of this episode. I hope you've got massive value and have enjoyed it. If you have done so, we'd love for you to do a couple of things. We'd love for you to subscribe. We'd love for you to give us a like or a comment, and we'd love for you to share it. It's through this podcast that we can help more people like you have more income, impact, and freedom. And that's our mission and vision for Profit Made Simple. Thank you so much.